it's deep. It's going. Number 20, I believe that's Sasha Anna with the disc. Looking to Naomi Fina. We have Chloe Hakimi on the mark, who's also just made worlds. And that's a Northwest score. That's a break.
I really like that Chloe and Naomi matchup.
Yeah.
If you were watching, they were both poaching off each other or not playing tight.
Right. I think that's a really great matchup because both of them do kind of similar things in the field. They throw and go. They're both handlers and they move very quickly with the disc. Nobi, why don't you explain what a break is?
A break. So in Frisbee, it's a very offensive-sided sport, and the team that receives the disc is expected to score. So that's why a lot of games tend to be pretty close, as both O-lines or offense lines tend to score when they have the disc. A break is when that doesn't happen and the defense, like, quote-unquote, breaks the offense and scores.
Right.
Super exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting, especially to start the game off with that is a big confidence and energy boost for Northwest. We have Naomi pulling again for Northwest. You see Hussein and Amp on the field giving some instruction.
Is there a spotty mic signal? Are we? Okay.
All right, and Kelly Johnson helping out her Roosevelt team. It'd be interesting to see if Northwest comes out down in the zone, starting on defense. I'm not sure though. A lot of the time, teams tend to throw zone if it's windy, and we don't have a lot of wind out right now, so. All right. Big backhand pull from Northwest. And that's out.
And we're seeing a vertical stack look from Roosevelt.
Yeah, I noticed that last game. I think they switched it up between vertical and host stack, which I think might help to confuse the defense maybe.
And a flood play.
Chagall to the middle. Nice throw. That's perfect for her to run onto. Looking at Chloe. Lucy Tanner. Back to Chloe. Staying very patient as they get close to the end zone. Lucy Mertz. And that's in.
First
score of the game.
And that is a hold for Roosevelt.
That was Lucy Mertz to Isabella Mansfield. Roosevelt now has the chance to play some of their defense, which is kind of what they're known for. Kelly Johnson, she puts a lot of focus on defense, and I think she's very she knows a lot about defense. And Roosevelt has a couple different defensive looks that they'll throw, lots of zones that they have, and I think that's just something they've worked really hard on.
I really like the flood look by Roosevelt, taking advantage of Northwest coming out in person.
Right.
First half of this game. So a flood is when a group of players leaves a space on the field and isolates one player. In this case, it was Chagall coming under from the deep, from the back of the stack, and it worked perfectly.
Chagall, also a U20 Worlds player. If you haven't recognized yet, we have a set of twins on Roosevelt, Chloe and Vivian Hakimi. Both very strong handlers.
And this is our first chance to see Roosevelt's D-line.
Yeah.
A lot of the same players are on though. Oh no, I'm lying. Just a couple.
Chloe Hakimi pulling. Wow, that's a big pull. looks like they're coming down
in a zone.
Yeah.
Or a little junky. It's just
Yeah.
Chloe poaching a little bit. We have no mark on the disc.
Seems like they're a little confused. Not a lot of communication from Roosevelt. Naomi. Ooh! A little too floaty, and Roosevelt comes down with it.
And Naomi gets it right back.
Naomi loves to shoot, so we saw Roosevelt players dropping back to cover that deep.
And again, we saw a handler left unmarked for a second. I think Roosevelt was trying to take away the fast break deep look and then recover back on handlers.
Fortunately, out for Roosevelt, Army Northwest. Chloe picking up. We're seeing that vertical look again. Cuts come from
Looking
the back
deep,
this time.
wow.
She shoots. Wow, great read by Lucy Mertz.
And that's a break for Roosevelt.
That makes the score 2-1 Roosevelt. They did look a little confused and a little messy on defense, but it all worked out in the end for them. I played pretty recently with a lot of these Roosevelt players and a couple of Northwest players on Seven Hills. That's where I got to know a lot of these players.
I want to shout out Naomi there. After she overthrew her teammate just a little, she stayed back and picked up the deep threat and made it into a turn. Both of the teams have a lot of height.
Yeah. Naomi with the disc. Points and shoots.
And a D by Chagall.
Looking at Anna. Back up line to Chagall. Shooting a little bit too low. Naomi gets in there. I like that shot though. I think if you have somebody going, why not take it? Scout with the disc.
Just a slight overthrow there. Chagall picking up. And we're seeing another vert stack by Roosevelt today.
Lucy Tanner. Looking to Nora, maybe?
And a block by Northwest.
Oh, and it's up. Chagall getting in there once again. Some contact, it looks like.
A little discussion on the contact there.
No call. Okay, Chagall with the disc. Oh, trailing. Can't get there for Roosevelt.
We have the last two possessions. Roosevelt has kept a poach on the under and left Chagall deep. So
I think it's working out for them.
it is working. Chagall's 2Ds this point.
We do have two number 10s.
An injury sub for Lucy Tanner.
Yeah, Lucy Tanner coming off, Chloe Akimi going in. I'm not sure what the injury is.
Just an injury.
Yeah. We do have two number 10s though on Roosevelt, so bear with us if we mess that up. Playing in sunglasses. That's a move. Oh, up line. Scout comes down with it. Oh, confused players downfield.
She was open.
It's true.
Another up line.
Whoa. Threading the needle there.
We have not seen an end zone look. They still have four handlers back.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. Front corner again.
Naomi to Scout. Northwest tying it up at 2-2.
Ties our game at twos.
I love the way the Northwest sideline hustles to get water bottles for their team. Makes a big difference
When you're tired and thirsty.
right. Is there anything you think either of these teams could be doing differently right now? I mean, it's pretty tight, so obviously there's some good matchups and good
Both
good plays
teams,
going on.
both teams have an exceptional zone, and I'd like to see them pull it out a couple times.
That would be fun to watch.
I know Northwest was practicing their zone O right before the game, putting their coaches in the cup. That was pretty effective. Too bad they're not playing today. For those of you joining us now, this is our 2022 GX State Finals.
What do you think both of these teams did to get here in semis? I know you might have only watched the Northwest Lincoln game, but or just like what have you seen throughout the regular season that you think made them the teams that are here today?
Both of these teams, whether they're playing person or zone, are winning with their legs. We've seen a lot of just run through Ds, poaching the lane. They're being smart about positioning, and it's working every time.
Yeah, for sure.
I think both teams have shown great chemistry this season.
Yeah.
Northwest always hitting their up line. Their cutters know to look for that. And for Roosevelt, their cutters just look confident holding the disc. Like catching it under, throwing it deep.
Right. Oh, here's Northwest in their zone. Should be exciting. Roosevelt does have a lot of really strong handlers, so I'm excited to see the way they move the disc quickly. Ellie to Vivian. Just like a pretty standard three-person cup, three-person in the middle and one deep.
Nice
Back to
break.
Vivian and swinging to Anna. Ellie with the disc. Vivian to Chloe. Back to Vivian. Back to Chloe.
That forehand dishy scared me.
I never throw a forehand dishy.
Wow, and a drive up
Shooting.
line,
A little bit too far for
up the
Roosevelt.
line, up the sideline.
I think they did a good job of staying patient and working with their handlers. I mean, up until that throw. Naomi picking up, of course. Big backhand fake.
Northwest running Hostack, and Roosevelt
Ooh,
had another poach deep.
there's a call. I think that there was contact when Ellie for Roosevelt was coming in to box her out or get that D, and Scout would have gotten there if there wasn't any contact. So no contest. Scout with the disc for Northwest. Shooting. Wow! That was a crazy catch.
Is that Sasha?
That is Sasha
Sasha
Hanna.
gets up.
That's impressive. Lucy had great positioning on that, so it was a crazy catch. Lucy with the disc. Oh! Chloe in position.
And a deep throw right away.
Great read by Lucy Mertz. All of her players are behind her, so she has to stay patient for a second. Oh, and another deep look.
Just a little too far for the receiver.
Although that wasn't caught by Roosevelt, I think it really helps them out field position-wise. It makes Northwest, 70 from their end zone, really far away, and have to work a lot harder. Or shoot it deep, which Naomi loves to do. There it is.
Wow, what a perfect throw. Is that Scout?
That is Scout. Naomi. She wants that backhand. There it is.
Wow.
Again, threading the needle for a Naomi to Scout score.
Backhand throw for the Northwest goal.
I think the original puck to Scout and that throw right there was just like a high stall count. Get it out of our hands. Throw, but they worked out, so. There's a timeout call by Roosevelt.
Northwest again, running to bring water to their team. I wish we did that.
So, if you were the Roosevelt coach, what would you be saying to your team? Although they are only down 1.
They're only down 1. So 3 times that point, we saw Northwest just drive a huck down the sideline, and I
Yeah.
think that I would be telling the far side defender to poach a little more on the open side, because they had help on the break side, but their throwers are comfortable driving it up the lane. So either commit to poaching the open side or stay person, but sitting on the break side wasn't accomplishing much there.
Yeah, I agree. If you're not familiar with how Ultimate works or don't know much about it, it is a self-refereed sport, basically. So we have no referees. In some of the higher up divisions like club and things like that, we have observers, but they still don't do the same thing as refs. So here, in this situation, all the players make their own calls, and it's their decision when they want to call things and how things go from there. So they have discussion, they sort it out, and I think that's one of the things I love about Ultimate is that it's all in the person to be honest and to work with the other team to come to an agreement. Nobi, have you ever played with observers?
I have not.
Me either.
I've played with angry parents,
Oh, yeah.
making calls from the sideline.
That is very frustrating. Nobody on the sideline can give input or call anything. So even if you think you know what happened or you think you have the best perspective, just don't say anything, please. It's all about the players on the field. And since it is all run by the players, sometimes you do see some terrible calls. But that's just going to happen.
It happens. That's what contests are for.
Yeah. You can contest most calls. All calls. I mean, you can contest all calls, but there's things like contesting a travel. Something like that doesn't really make sense. People still do it, though, of course. Okay, so we see our teams getting back in the field. Same 7? No, not the same 7 from Northwest. Interesting.
I'm expecting another zone look. It
Right.
worked. It forced how many turns last play? There
Too
was
many.
a couple. Too many turns for both teams.
We see Lucy Tanner, who took an injury previously, back on. That's good. I personally love playing Roosevelt because they play very aggressive, very tight, and very hardworking defense and offense, and I love to play aggressive defense. So if I can play a team that matches that energy, then I'm having fun.
Did you have a chance to play Northwest this year?
Yeah, so regular season, there's 2 different leagues. There is the SPS League and the ECL League, which recently changed its name to I'm not sure what. ECL is the private league, SPS is public schools. So we only met Northwest at Seattle Invite. Chagall with the disc. Back to Tanner. Swinging to Kira. This zone makes the handlers have to move very quickly to Chagall. Ooh, that's a really nice swing to Kira.
Right through the cup.
Nora with the disc. Yeah, if there's a cup on you, you're on the sideline. Your main priority is getting it off the sideline. The last thing you want to be is trapped. Kira shooting the deep's back there. She gets in there. Good read there by the Northwest defense. I think that's one of the things that was so Northwest coming in and beating Lincoln to get here. Talking to some of the Roosevelt players last game as they stayed after theirs, is they had never seen Northwest before. Nobody had seen Northwest before, so they came in and they blew it out of the water. So I think that was really shocking, and that's not what Roosevelt was expecting, or most people were expecting, because again, they hadn't seen Northwest in the regular season. Shooting to two.
Wow,
that was
great
a
catch.
There, I think Scout moved out of the way for her to catch it. Great mid there. Looking to reset. Whoa. There's a
Call on the throw.
holding her face. I think Chagall maybe got knocked in the nose or something. Maybe a nosebleed.
Chloe Hakimi is doing a great job. When she's marking the handler, I notice her face guarding the thrower, and by that I mean her back is towards the person she's guarding,
Right.
so she can see the thrower and where they want to throw it to.
Yeah. Chloe's handler defense is great, especially on Naomi, who Northwest wants to get it to Naomi every other. When they get it downfield, they want to give it to Naomi. On the doorstep, Northwest.
A little discussion on the catch there.
Not sure about what. Chloe's playing great handler defense. Shooting to the middle, and Scout comes down with it. That may be Scout's. Has Scout scored every goal for Northwest?
I don't think so.
At least 3 of them.
At least a couple, yeah.
3 of the 4, I think. That's incredible. Score is now 4-2. Roosevelt looking to get this hold. Where do you think Roosevelt is slipping up on offense? Because I think they're giving Northwest a lot of chances to score. They're getting them those break chances.
Yeah, catching the pull, Roosevelt looks really strong into the 50 with their handler movement.
Yeah.
And then they're taking a shot to the Northwest deep these last couple points, and that hasn't worked.
Right. I think if they stay patient, it would help a lot.
I don't think Roosevelt has a turn in the handler set yet.
Yeah.
So,
Just keep trusting those really strong handlers.
and I know the first couple points of the game, we saw Roosevelt's vert stack. If they could maybe work it up to half and transition into vert or end zone,
Yeah.
that would work.
Nobi, when you're on the field, what position do you play?
I have turned into a cutter. A little promotion there.
All right. I've been a handler my whole life. Someday I'll learn to cut. Hopefully not soon, though, because I love to handle.
Yeah.
Naomi playing for Northwest. All right. Lucy Tanner picking up for Roosevelt. Immediately looking to Vivian.
And a junk look by Northwest, sitting 3 people in the lane.
Yeah. I think they're recognizing that, up until 50, their handlers are what they're utilizing the most.
Yeah.
Up line, but looking that off. Sister to sister for Jaja to Anna. Jaja to Vivian. Looking to Ellie. Nice grab there. Tanner.
Ooh, I thought that was going.
Yeah, that's an interesting holster. Ellie, whoa.
Great catch.
Ellie with the disc. Back to Vivian. Jaja. One of the things you're seeing a lot from the Roosevelt. Whoa! Way to secure that. One of the things we're seeing a lot from the Roosevelt handlers is the throw and go. They love their up lines. But that one didn't quite work out. There is a foul call on that up line.
This junk look is allowing the Northwest defenders downfield to force their cutters deep because they know that is a tough throw.
Right. You've seen a lot of Roosevelt handlers looking to throw off their pump fakes.
Actually, right on the field, we see 3 of the 4 Roosevelt cutters are being forced deep right now. But with Naomi in the lane, that throw is not coming out.
Yeah. That's something people like to call front pocket defense. There's front pocket and there's back pocket. Front pocket means you're in front of your person between them and the disc, forcing them to go deep. Because, that's the throw that they're not going to take or the throw that you can get in there if they try it.
Forcing, playing front pocket on people taller than you, always a fun move.
Yeah. I mean, if you know you can jump, then why not? Jaja with the disc to Lucy. Wow, great catch by Anna. She has very sure hands. Lucy, back to Jaja. Lucy. Vivian. Chagall. This is what Northwest is wanting to happen. This is the goal of that junk, is to make them having to work these little throws, having to reset and swing so much and not get it downfield.
And there's the deep throw. Great box out.
Great box out. I think Roosevelt was getting a little impatient with having to take so many handler looks and not getting it downfield.
Yeah, and again, we see Roosevelt patiently working up to the half and then taking a shot.
Yeah.
Right inside.
Sasha. This.
Lucy Tanner in the lane again. She's going to do this every single point.
Naomi swinging to Lucy Tanner's first
Oh.
unfortunate drop. It's interesting how Roosevelt's not immediately picking it up and trying to go. I know a lot of the players are behind them.
And here is the vert stack look that we've been waiting for.
Give chance for the defense to set up. Ooh, that's a cool inside swing. Ellie Buchanan with the disc to Vivian. Ellie, backup line. That's a great cut from Vivian. Wow. Really nice throw. Just right over the hands of the Northwest defense. Making the score 4-3. That was a very long point.
Yeah.
We saw a forehand force from Northwest on that point. For those who don't know, a force is when you are trying to take one side away on the mark or trying to force only one kind of throw. So a forehand force would mean that you're trying to make the offense throw a forehand and really take away that backhand side and vice versa.
And that lets the defenders downfield take away that forehand side and theoretically take away 100% of the field.
Yeah. If your downfield defense is in position and is, orbiting around the player in a way to mirror the force, then you're going to be taking a lot of the field away.
I think Northwest had a semifinals appearance like in 2018. Jude, can you confirm? Sounds right, yeah. But this is the first time they've been back, and Roosevelt here like every year.
Yeah, Roosevelt's been a powerhouse for quite a while now. Garfield hasn't, our school Garfield, I don't know if this is just on the girls' side, but hasn't beaten Roosevelt in 4 years. So
Ooh.
that's something to show how strong Roosevelt
Big.
is and has been. talking about wanting to throw person more, so maybe that's what we'll see.
Seeing a deep host stack by Northwest.
Oh, there's that cup. So they're throwing the zone. Chloe on the mark, Naomi with the disc.
Nice swing. This looks more like a box and one with Chloe one-on-one on Naomi
Nice over the top.
and the rest of the team playing zone.
I think you're right. Box and one, if you don't know, is when one player specifically guards one specific player, and I talked about this.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, way to force that and taking away Naomi. I was kind of hoping to see this. I talked about this after the game. The last game is that I was hoping Roosevelt would throw box and one on Naomi and see how that worked out for Northwest and see what that did for them.
Yeah, in quarterfinals, Cleveland played a zone on Northwest, but without the box and one, Naomi was able to go every other.
Right.
Another out of bounds throw. I think that's going to be taken all the way back up.
Yeah, they never came back in, so they're going to take it to where it went out. That's very helpful for Northwest.
I think we're back in person.
Yeah, so there's a fire call, which means it's back to person. Naomi picking up at around the 30. Yeah, at the 30. We have Kira completely in the lane, which leaves
Wow, it works out.
maybe a call on that.
Wow, at some point there, Kira, number 17, was 20 yards away from her person.
Yeah. At that point, I don't know if that's hoping or doing more damage.
It forced a turn.
Yeah.
We'll say it was something.
Kira with the disc to Jaja. Nope, that is Jaja. Ooh. That's just a little too low for Chloe.
We're going to see an end zone set by Northwest.
With the Scout ISO. Ooh.
Great D.
Yeah. There was a great mark that forced that great run to D. A lot of working together for that Roosevelt D there. Ooh.
And a run through.
Really got to go to that disc. Again, they're setting up in their vertical end zone.
We know.
Oh.
There it is. We know Naomi wants the break throw.
Inside forehand break throw to Scout. Northwest goal, making it 5-3. Jeez, that Naomi the Scout is kind of unstoppable.
Do you know what HAUS means?
That is the Northwest mascot, kind of, their house. Yeah.
Their original school was a firehouse.
But it's spelled. They're
Because you
cheering.
can't fit 5 letters into a cheer, Nobi.
I'd love
fit 5 letters into a cheer.
I'd love to hear a 5-letter cheer.
Not in the Northwest. It does not happen.
It doesn't happen.
We have a certain cadence that goes through college and club and
Yeah, Northwest is house, and Roosevelt is the Riders. Their light jersey has the Rider logo on it, but their dark jersey has a teddy bear, which I really like for Teddy Roosevelt, which I think is kind of funny.
It is pretty funny. What about the Northwest jersey?
They have a tiny little house on the back, like on the neck.
It looks pretty big. Oh, that must be the letters, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see a little house.
back in like 2004, an Ultimate player for Northwest made a costume of the house logo as
I
his
like
senior
it, yeah.
project.
I really like the little house logo. It's cool. Roosevelt will be receiving the pull. Jaja catching it to Chagall.
And here's that northwest zone again.
Yeah. Lucy to Chagall. Nora.
Great give and go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think Chagall
it's
is
a tough call.
calling that, saying that Scout maybe knocked it out of her hands before she released it.
That's a great play by Scout. If you know someone's getting beat deep, go run into the disc. Oh, and a deep look.
Can Roosevelt get in there? Wow!
Letting the disc go.
Jaja getting in there, and I love the way she picks up immediately. Not letting Northwest setting up that zone. Unfortunately, it didn't work.
See a poach in the lane. An unfortunate trip by Roosevelt left a Northwest player open deep.
Sasha to Lucy. Ooh.
I think we switched the four. Ooh.
Wow.
Another
We're gonna chase that down, but
discussion.
there's a call on it.
Did you notice the four switch to backhands there?
I did not.
Maybe that's why Naomi was open.
No call. Nice. Okay. Chagall picking it up. Northwest looking to trap it, not let them get it through or around. Lucy swinging to Jaja. They're pretty deep in their end zone right now.
Roosevelt
Chagall.
very comfortable throwing swings around the cup.
Yeah. It's a good skill to have against the zone.
Yeah, in the Northwest and Lincoln semifinal, that's what. While Lincoln had a lot of really strong cutters, their handlers had a couple turns in the,
Yeah,
in the
especially
short
when they
space, the
got
short
trapped on the
fields.
sideline.
Yeah.
Nora to Lucy. Chagall.
And right through the cup.
Wow, that's a really nice find to Jaja and to Ellie. That makes the score 5-4.
That possession was the patience we're looking for. Not any deep looks over the Northwest zone, but
Yes,
right through.
Exactly. They have those throws, so why not just use them?
In this case, they worked it up to the 50 and then hit a nice break instead of
Yeah.
a deep throw.
A lot of handling in the zone is finding those pockets. That's why that shot helped to open up so much of the field for Roosevelt, and especially moving the disc quickly in the zone as a handler is very important because it makes the zone fall behind and have to chase you. I think a lot of the time, offense against the zone is very handler heavy, but I think part of that comes from cutters downfield not exactly always knowing what to do in that situation. Figuring out where to cut to and when if so much is taken away by the zone.
Mira, you mentioned you like to handle in a zone.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
What do you want your cutters doing when you're in that handler spot?
That's a really great question. So I think a great thing that cutters can do, and it's very simple, is when a swing gets to a certain part of the field, that's when the cutter can come in to get that disc, because that opens up a spot for them to cut to, and especially if the swing leaves the zone trailing, that's a perfect moment for the cutter to come in, get that disc, and start the momentum going downfield.
Yeah, I have to agree. So for both these teams with really strong handler sets, what I like the cutters doing is really holding space until the disc gets moved,
Yeah.
and then cutting into that newly open space or now dangerous space.
I think it's important that even if the cutters aren't getting the disc, that they're giving the defense something to do, because otherwise that defense is just going to go flood that handler space more than it already is. So I think alternating cuts deep and under in the cutter set is really important, and just giving the defense something to work with, having to cover that. Okay, Lucy picking up.
We see a switch there.
Yeah.
So a
Interesting.
cutter came into the handler set, and their defender stayed deep.
Ooh, that was close. Way to come down with it.
Now, is this? I guess it is a zone.
Yeah, it's a little like.
I like the hammer fake.
Yeah.
You have not seen a hammer this game. If any of you watched the Northwest Cleveland game in quarterfinals, a couple points, Naomi had 5 hammers in a row.
Jeez. Zone is a great place to use your over-the-top throws. I love a good scuba.
You have to show off a little bit.
Can't throw a hammer for the life of me. It's okay, because I have scuba. Ooh. Lucy. Stuck on the sideline
Ooh,
shooting.
nice hammer.
Great D for Roosevelt. Picking up and immediately uncorking. Huge backhand. Wow!
She came
That's a
up.
great read. That's the amazing thrower movement that we know.
That was a great point for Roosevelt. You see, Chagall picked it up and boomed it, but it was just a little short. Luckily, their receiver came back and attacked the disc. Always attack the disc.
Good to see that trust in your receiver to know that even if it's not going where you meant it to go, that they can get there, and that's a great read.
Yeah.
Yeah, attacking the disc is very important. A lot of the times if you see those run through Ds, it's because the person stops. Always run all the way through to catch your disc.
Yeah. Also, with that Roosevelt zone that point, sometimes you generate a turn and the best thing is just hucking it deep, and it either works or you set up your zone again.
Yeah. Field position is just as important as, scoring sometimes.
Yeah.
And that zone, I think, really messed up Northwest's, pacing, and it threw a wrench in what they were doing and how smoothly they were working it. Okay, the score is now tied. A little bit of a comeback from Roosevelt, 5-5. We're gonna see Chloe pulling. Lucy picking up, centering to Naomi.
A deep host stack again. Oh no, we have 4 handlers back for Northwest and
Interesting.
3 cutters.
You do see that sometimes if there's a zone, you see 4 handlers coming, playing 4 handler back in the zone. Nice read there by Annika. Wow, losing a lot of yards here. Sorry, that's not Annika, that's Ariza. Ooh, nice catch there.
Ooh, nice palm fake.
Travel call, maybe? I think there's a contest, but there's not much that happens.
Mira, what is a travel?
Ooh, okay. A travel is when... So in Ultimate, you have to set a pivot foot, and you cannot lift up that pivot foot when you're throwing or when you're faking. So a travel call is when, you call somebody on moving that pivot foot or taking steps or moving at all in a way that would benefit them. Nice grab there from number 5, Melba Henley. Calling it out, I believe? Yeah.
A straddle on the catch?
A disc is in if your first point of contact is in. So whichever foot you put down first.
They are contesting the in or out call, so this is coming back to the thrower.
Naomi on the sideline. Shooting crossfield forehand. Ellie gets in there for the
An avert stack look for Roosevelt. Wow. Same third.
Wow.
It's going to work.
Beautiful throw to Anna. Again, having to stay patient, waiting for her players to catch up. Ellie, and back to Anna.
Is that? Ooh, almost.
Great effort there.
I practice my same third hucks every day.
Naomi on the sideline.
Roosevelt setting his zone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same zone.
Whoa.
Okay, another cross field. This one right to the deep deep.
Yeah, that's not been working. Those deep deeps have been there. Chloe with the disc. Upset in the option she has downfield. Oh no. Maybe a cramp for the Roosevelt player. Something's going on with her leg.
Taking an injury sub.
See Vivian going in. Hope she's okay. That's one of our number 10s. I'm not sure what the ongoing discussion is, but they tap the disc.
I saw it was a catch, so I think Roosevelt's going to pick up here.
Right.
Naomi is still poaching the lane, so...
The trainer's coming across.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's part of the delay. Yeah, Naomi poaching the lane, trying to stop that up line.
Same third.
Chloe.
What a great round.
Woo! Lucy comes down with it. Really sure hands with her.
Wow. Roosevelt throwing into 4 defenders there.
Interesting. I mean, Tanner was getting out of it.
I'm surprised it didn't work.
Also hoping to keep it down here. Northwest has that big and stretch it. Naomi. It's a little bit lofty. Ariza comes down with it. Getting it in there for Roosevelt. Lucy Mertz is having an incredible game. Tanner to Ellie. Striking up line.
That high release is deadly.
Layout catch for Chloe and shooting.
Wow. Back corner this time.
Really nice. Getting that disc and that.
So, we heard from the Roosevelt coach that they're going to throw a lot of different zone looks, and I think that point we saw there 3-2-2 or 3 on the disc, 2 in the middle, and 2 deep. And that's where those turns were generated. You saw Northwest was able to take a little bit of advantage over breaks to the middle, but it stopped there.
Yeah,
And then-
I think Northwest got a little panicky with that 3-2-2 on them because they started throwing things, throwing crazy crossfield things that I don't think you would normally see from them, and obviously didn't work out. Is there a timeout call? There is a timeout call. You
Is
can
that the
see Hussein showing his team something with cones, maybe showing them.
He brought the cones out.
Oh yeah. Pro coach move. I think Northwest is really hyped up right now. They came back a little bit, took the lead.
You
And
mean Roosevelt?
that's what I meant to say. That's what I thought I said too. Yeah. We have about 48 minutes left on the clock and halftime's at 8.
Yeah.
These points so far have been pretty long, and I think that has to do with some of the zone we've been seeing, or maybe just how even these teams are, but that really benefits Roosevelt since they have a much larger roster than Northwest.
Well, I was going to say taking longer timeouts, and especially halftime is going to be really crucial for this Northwest team since they're playing a tighter roster.
Right. I think they have really great chemistry together and are able to more get into the flow of the game, but it also is really difficult when you're every single point having to work so hard. Okay. Both teams getting on the line. Chagall gonna pull for Roosevelt. I'd like to keep seeing that zone from Roosevelt because hopefully they're realizing that that's taking away the really crucial, like, big looks from Northwest that Naomi has been taking and has been really working for them.
I think so. Roosevelt's GX team is going to high school nationals in a
true.
couple weeks. Do you know about Northwest?
Northwest got an invite, but they will not be going. I think it has to do with their roster size, and
That makes sense.
it's just not going to work out for them. It's just unfortunate, but
Oh, I wanted to bring that up. That ranking. So.
oh yeah.
This finals game is Roosevelt's #1 in the state, and they're playing Northwest, which is #2 in the state. And actually, nationally, Roosevelt is #2 in the country. And with their upset over Lincoln, Northwest is 3rd in the country.
Wow. #1 in the country is South Eugene. Who's a big name right now.
They are a big name right now.
Lucy with the disc, we see that there's that zone. Oh. A little lofty. Ariza comes down with it. Naomi.
Yeah, this does look like the 3-2-2 we were talking about last point.
Yeah, I really like how they have the two people back because when those deep shots come, they have
And a
an
high.
advantage. Nice read there by Naomi. Through to Scout. Back to Naomi. Lucy.
Great defense in the cup there.
Ariza calling for it, but back to Naomi. This cup is doing a great job of stopping how quickly.
And our first hammer.
Yes, stopping how quickly Naomi wants to move, but that is a great look.
I have been waiting for that.
Wow. Scout attacking the disc. There's the
There it
hammer
is.
again. Wow, she has a lot of accuracy with that. Ariza, back to Naomi. Lucy.
What a great
Ariza.
scene.
Nice slash over. And into the end zone.
And with the Northwest goal.
Tying it up again at 6-6.
Brings our score to
Northwest stayed
6-all.
patient on that point, although they weren't able to move it, I think, as quickly as they wanted to.
I like seeing Naomi going every other that point. I'd like to see Roosevelt maybe call a fire next time. We know that they worked it 50 yards up through the zone. Maybe it's time to switch into person. But
Especially as they got close to the end zone and they knew that Naomi wants to hit that up line or wants to get that disc back.
what is fire? Oh yeah, so fire is when at some point on the field the defense switches from whatever their original look was into person or one-on-one.
Yeah, a lot of teams tend to call fire as they get close to the end zone, and the zone is not very helpful when the offense goes into that end zone set because they're leaving a lot of space open for the cutters.
I'm really impressed with their coach. That is Kelly, right?
Yes.
Kelly taking this finals team all by herself right now.
Right. Yeah.
Almost halftime. Calling the O-looks, telling the D-looks, talking to the sideline. That is a lot.
Kelly won Player of the Year in Defensive Player in the Year in 2018.
It's pretty recently.
Yeah, so you can see why, not why, but how Roosevelt came to have so many defensive looks and so strong in it and so confident and powerful with it. Kelly has helped them a lot with that. And I love that. I love to play defense, and I love seeing the versatility that they have. Tanner picking up, swinging to Chloe. Northwest down in a...
It's a little junky person.
Yeah, I was a little confused. Chloe with the disc. Kira, back to Tanner. Chloe up line to Anna, same third. To Kira and swinging to Lucy. I love that swing. Tanner. To Kira. Staying patient. Up line.
Both teams really like these little short passes up the sideline,
Wow.
and that's going to work.
Trying to figure out if that was in, and that's a Roosevelt score. Taking the lead again, 7-6.
So we mentioned
That's a Roosevelt score.
junk earlier this game. Mira, can you describe what like a junk is?
Yeah, so a junk can be similar to a zone, but it's a little bit more messy and like undefined kind of. So there's always somebody on the mark, and downfield all the people are on their players pretty much, but it's more about the handler set and more about taking away those lanes. So there's going to be poaching off of the handlers, taking away the space that they want them to throw to. It's really about the handler set and not so much about the downfield. Do you want to say more about junk?
Nope.
Okay.
Intermediate intern.
Is this a timeout call? It must be. There's been 3 timeouts so far?
Something like that.
Something like that.
More than one.
If you don't know, teams get 1 timeout per half plus a floater, and the floater means they can use it anytime they want, anywhere they want. If you're on the field when a timeout is called, and you're the captain, what do you say to your team to give them that energy that they need?
I make up a lot of stuff. I talk to the team
True.
about what's working, what's not. Sometimes I make stuff up. It's really more about like taking a deep breath,
Right.
gathering, just talking about what's working and continue to do that. Most of the time, timeouts where you talk about what's not working aren't really the morale booster that your team needs.
True.
So yeah, just keep making stuff up about what's going well.
A lot of it is in your head. So if you get down on yourself, start thinking too hard about what's going on in the field, then you're going to start playing like that.
It's all your receiver's fault.
True. Very true. If I ever throw it away, I say receiver error, because I never make a mistake, ever. I'm perfect all the time.
Actually, so 2 years ago, I played in the JV mixed final, and we were down 8-5 at half. And our coach, shout out Maddie Stevenson, she is the Lincoln
Oh,
coach,
I love Maddie Stevenson.
told gave like a 5-minute talk, like all of halftime was about how being down 8-5 is statistically the most comebackable score.
True, true.
We all believed it. She totally made it up. We did win the game. So
I love Maddie Stevenson.
we were like, we are that stat. So
we were down most of our games this season. My GX team and Laura Mendoma, our coach, would come on the field when we had like 10 minutes left of the game, down 8-2, and say this is where legends are made. And we never won those games, but we had fun. So
it's a thought.
Yeah.
It's the mentality.
Sometimes you just have to lie, and that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, team's getting back in the field. That was a very long timeout. Chagall pulling for Roosevelt. Very lofty, giving Roosevelt time to get down there and set up. They're in a zone.
This is their 3-2-2 again. This time Chagall's playing as one of the under spots instead of the D.
Yeah, interesting. I like that they have Lucy deep. We've seen her get up a lot recently. Oh, right through. That's rough for Roosevelt. Nice look there. Scout with the disc. Ariza. Naomi. Chloe with a great tight mark. Wow. Nice inside shot to Scout. Woo! Oh my
And a call on
goodness.
the catch.
That was an incredible catch, but it might have been down. Okay.
Ruled as a catch.
Oh. Some sort of stoppage of play. Something downfield.
Chagall having a discussion with, is that Scout?
I think they're talking about people moving
Okay.
while there was a call going on. If you don't know, you can't move while discussion is happening. You can't move until the disc is fully tapped back in. Oh
Now
my
a little
gosh.
talk with the mark. Maybe some contact was made.
Maybe something to do with the stall. Don't know.
Any foul on the mark resets the stall to 0, I believe.
Yeah, there's contact. What? Never mind.
Okay, now he's still with the disc. Wow. Chloe taking away a lot, and Lucy on the sideline. Over the top to Naomi. Oh, she wants that inside forehand. Swinging to Ariza.
Forehand throw and go.
There's that. Inside. A little too far for Scout.
Roosevelt choosing to stay in their zone in the end zone set, and it forced a turn.
Yeah. Wow, these points are really long. We haven't even gotten to half, and we only have 35 minutes left in the game.
Chagall sneaking deep. No throw. Oh, here's a throw.
Power position. Oh. Wow, the mark did a great job of swooping and taking away that throw that she wanted. Great toe there by Ellie. Swinging to Tanner. Wow, nice snag by Chagall and straight into the end zone. Oh! Lucy Mertens can't quite get there. That was a really nice shot though. Roosevelt Cup is going to work really hard right here to keep the disc here, keep it with the handlers, and not let them shoot it because they want this field positioning. Naomi with the disc.
Back in their I think it's a 3-person cup, but it's
Yeah.
a little far apart.
I think they're just trying to take away those lanes. Ariza.
And there's our turn in the handler set.
Yeah, that's what Roosevelt really wanted. So now they're about 10 from the end zone line. Chloe with the disc.
Wow,
Lucy
nice
throwing into
air
that.
bounce.
Back to Chloe. Signature throw and go. Vivian to Chagall for a Roosevelt score.
So Roosevelt score. Roosevelt takes half.
Yeah, that makes the
8-6.
score 8-6. Roosevelt now taking half.
Shout out Roosevelt for being, I think, 100% in their end zone sets.
Yeah,
We have not seen them throw a turn in that vert
they
stack.
get a chance to get into that vert. They're very clean, very organized. So that is halftime. Halftime's about 5 minutes.
Ladies and
we
gentlemen,
will be
Disc
back.
Northwest would like to welcome to the
See you
field
soon.
co-owner and co-coach of the Seattle Tempest, Rory Titcomb. The Tempest had an unheralded perfect season in the WUL, going 6-0 before taking down the Arizona Sidewinders, then San Diego Super Bloom in the finals 18-15. Congratulations to all Seattle Tempest members and players. If you'd like to follow along with the Tempest next season, you can find them on social media at Seattle_Tempest or SeattleTempest.com. Be loud. Congratulations, Seattle Tempest.
Hello and welcome back to the second half of the Disc Northwest GX League State Finals. If you're just tuning in, we have Northwest in red, Roosevelt in white. Roosevelt took half over Northwest 8-6, though we saw Northwest leading earlier in the game. What have you seen so far, Novi, or really interesting things?
So, the first 6 points of this game, we saw both teams opening up with person, testing out the other team's key players. And as the first half moved on, both teams gradually switched to zone as they're more comfortable with zone D, I guess. Looking to see maybe some more poachy looks, but I think we're not going to see much person in the second half. Yeah, coming out with a zone for Roosevelt.
Both teams' zones have been very helpful for them, and especially these points have been so long, just trading back and forth. Great heads up D there by Ellie Buchanan to Jaja.
Ooh!
Naomi Fina gets in there and immediately points deep. Shooting forehand.
That's a great throw.
Wow.
Unlucky start to our second half.
Yeah, that's a beautiful throw though. Chloe uncorking that backhand that she just loves so much to a wide open Lucy Mertz. And shooting into the end zone. What? Oh.
Wow. Count it. That's a block.
Yep.
You can see Lucy Mertz calling for the disc for around 20 yards before she got it.
Is this a 4-person cup?
It was not. We just had our one of our wings poaching in a little bit.
Jaja goes with hand block. She's a freshman.
Nice swing. Roosevelt setting their vert stack and a call. Oh, an injury downfield.
Oh no. I didn't see her down there. She's way down there. I didn't see what happened, but I hope she's okay.
She was sitting deep, and I did not see what happened as she came under. I don't think there's contact. But.
That's not the trainer, is it?
It is
It
for
is?
Northwest.
Oh, Northwest
They have
has
their own trainer.
their own trainer checking in on the player. What happened?
Oh, is that a Reed Koss appearance?
It is.
So, Reed Koss is their boys and mixed coach at Northwest, and he will also be coaching the U20 men's national team. So, yeah, super cool.
He's a really cool guy. So,
Looks like he is a part-time trainer too. Something.
Coaches, we are going to freeze the clock while the player is being taken care of.
yeah, so the clock is freezing. Wow. There's a big stoppage of play. I can't pinpoint what happened or is happening to her.
Might be heat stroke, given the number of times.
It's true. Able to get up.
Stadium clock will restart on the check disc.
Is today the hottest day of the year? Feels like it.
It's 70 right now. It's the second 70 we've had, but this has been a really cold spring.
I think this 70 feels hotter than.
Oh yeah, especially down on the turf.
Yeah.
It gets really, really hot down there. So maybe it has something to do with the heat. I hope she's okay. The disc is coming back with Roosevelt, Jaja on the sideline. Up line to Lucy. Jaja gets it back.
Nice
Really
inside.
Ellie. To Lucy. Up line. Really nice.
Ooh,
A little bit of a
save
bobble.
the fumble. And just a short pass. That is Roosevelt's first turn in
Wow.
the red zone.
That was a really close-up line. Personally, I wouldn't hit that. But Roosevelt's back in their zone. Oh, she wants it deep. There we go. I think most of that look is just trying to get it off Roosevelt's end zone line. Again, for field position.
So Mira, what is end zone and like why do we run it? Oh, you're
Yeah,
my
for
bad,
sure.
my bad.
No, sorry. I'm very hungry. But end zone is when a team transitions into, normally a vertical set. It's not always vertical, but that's what we're seeing this game. The reason people go end zone is to get more organized, and often there's one ISO short for isolation, giving the team
Deep throw.
offense. Oh yeah. Deep gets in there. Yeah, but the end zone just makes it very organized and simple and gives like one at a time options normally for the team. A call about in or out.
Yeah. Yeah, to add on to that, with the end zone being only 20 yards long, the defense no longer needs to cover like any deep space or poach deep, and they can sit on those underneaths. So throws in that space can be like, while it seems like you only have to complete like a short throw, there's a lot more defenders in the area than there usually is.
Yeah, many defenders in one small area, so choosing one person to cut or just having a set play is very helpful. Ellie with the disc.
And a little high.
Scout gets in there. Oh, there was some contact. It looks like maybe the wind got knocked out of Lucy when she hit the ground.
This looks more like an injury with players taking a knee.
Yeah, I think
Drink your water.
for sure. So hydrate or dehydrate? Okay.
Sunscreen or sunscreen.
Yeah, I think just hit the ground, knock the wind out of her. She'll be back soon, I bet. Anna Pettis coming on to replace her. Okay. Some talk about setting up, and Scout streaks deep immediately, but Naomi looks it off.
Great mark. Just a bailout throw.
Right. Roosevelt's zone is forcing a lot of those.
Yeah, we saw Chloe shift all the way to no dump there on the mark and leaving the upfield throw open because... Oh, I thought that disc went out a lot further down.
I thought that was in bounds the whole time.
Interesting. So they're taking it where the disc went out, which is...
You know, maybe at 40 yards away I don't have best perspective. It always feels like I do.
I always think I do. Yeah, I cannot see that, but Northwest is calling for it deeper, and Roosevelt wants it where she threw it from. Maybe they'll go somewhere in the middle.
Great job by Roosevelt's sideline talking to the people on the fields. I think convincing the players on the field where the disc goes in should be a yardage stat.
They are consulting the coaches who probably had a good view of it. This is a very long discussion. Oh, they're going even further. Okay. Cool. Jaja picking it up near the 50. Under to Anna.
Putting a poach in the lane, putting it back in the lane. Yeah, and another poach. Northwest really trying to force the disc onto the sideline here. Except that they got broken. Yeah.
Anna. Oh. Good bid by Chloe. Just out of her reach. Hussein begging for a shot deep.
There it is. Wow.
Great high point by Scout.
It's like, it's not the first time this game where we thought the throw is underthrown, but the receiver was sitting under the whole time. And here's a nice
Wow. Right to space, letting him run onto it.
This is still the first point after half, huh?
Is that true? Wow. Northwest finally punching that in after
And that's a Northwest goal.
2 injuries at that point, which is unfortunate, but score is now 8-7. Roosevelt's still up. If you can hear it on the broadcast, we have a huge crowd here. So shout out to
The
them.
entire Northwest school is in the stands.
That is true. Great support.
Might be an exaggeration.
Not really.
And a lot of Roosevelt fans. It's great to see all these fans.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone watching, supporting Women's Ultimate. Nobi, what's your favorite throw?
My favorite throw is high release flick. I've stopped throwing backhand arounds. Because, like, you have to pivot, you have to move the mark. High release flick, none of that.
He's just really lazy.
Instant turnovers.
Instant turnovers, yeah. Not all the time.
Okay. Okay, coming up, this summer, what are you doing frisbee-wise this summer, Nobi?
So I'll be playing frisbee with some teams. I'm gonna try out for YCC in a couple weeks. I bet a lot of players on the field right now might also be there. And I'll be coaching Disc Northwest summer camps.
Yeah!
If you have not signed up for Disc Northwest summer camps, go sign up.
Sign your kids up. They love it. This summer I'll be CITing Disc Northwest summer camps. Also trying out for YCC. It's gonna be fun. Chloe to Vivian, Northwest down in their zone.
Oh, just shy of Cheval's hands.
They're setting up the zone.
There's the deep throw. Okay.
Wow, she's
That's perfect. You can hear how loud the sideline is. It is now a tie game at 8-8
I really thought that was out of
With-
Scott's reach, but
12 minutes left in the game.
that's really big for Northwest. Gives them a lot of confidence, and also that was cool. Yeah, it's hard to tell where this game will go with not very much time left and these teams being so neck and neck.
Oh, yeah, so the clock on our live stream might not be the same as the clock on our board on the fields. Really, I see. Yeah, so if that clarifies anything.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, Naomi pulling. Probably, most definitely coming down in the zone.
So, Mira, what do you think Roosevelt's coach Kelly is telling the line right now?
I think Kelly is telling them to trust their handler movement and keep sticking with it. She definitely recognizes that's what's working for them and that they need to keep utilizing that, especially because I'm sure she knows they're going to come down in zone. So staying patient with the disc and valuing the disc is what they need to do to score this. Oh.
And a deep throw down the sideline.
Wow, Lucy is so fast. I mean, what I said was completely wrong, but great score there by Roosevelt. I mean, maybe that's what Kelly said, but Chagall's going to take a shot if it's there. And I like that. Especially knowing her receiver, knowing Lucy's incredibly fast and will get there. All right, scores 9-8. Roosevelt.
Is this a timeout? No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what goes on at high school nationals. We have a lot of Seattle teams coming. I believe 4. I think 4 teams. Garfield girls are going, so I'm excited to be playing there. But we're gonna see,
Ingram.
Ingram, Roosevelt, Garfield. I don't know. And Lincoln. Yeah, so we'll see who does what out there in Virginia.
Who does what?
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are mostly looking to take down South Eugene. They know that they're the threat, but I'd like a rematch against some of the Seattle teams that Garfield played earlier in the season. Okay, Chagall pulling. Chagall takes a huge run up when she's pulling. I mean, it works.
It's effective.
Yeah. Oh.
Great smother by Naomi.
Roosevelt in the zone. Sideline to Annika. Huge swing to Ariza. I love that. It makes the zone have to catch up so far and so fast. Another huge swing back to Annika. And they're going to do it over again. Wow.
And it's caught.
Naomi with the disc.
And a deep throw.
Whoa! Roosevelt players taking each other out. They're okay, I believe. Great D there by Lucy.
I think that was Chagall with the touch on it.
Well, both of them, great D, good positioning. Chagall to Ellie. Vivian. Back to Ellie. Vivian's choice of the forehand issue is interesting to me. Something I wouldn't do personally. Nora swinging to Chagall.
Ooh, and a hand block in the cup.
Swatted down almost immediately by the press. Now we letting that throw go. Swinging to Ariza.
Ooh.
Way to stay with it. Very sticky hands by Lucy. Oh. Naomi. It's Lucy.
I want to highlight that in a finals game, like nerves are high, the stakes are high. You have a
Right.
big crowd watching, and we've only seen one drop this game.
Wow.
Seen a bunch of fumbles, but they were all caught by somebody.
Yeah, it's
So-
very nerve-wracking, especially with huge crowd, lots of noise. You're keeping stats that I haven't even thought about. Naomi looking to Lucy, still very trapped on the sideline.
Roosevelt has not switching to person,
Yeah.
comfortable with the cup on the sideline.
It's really working, but
Wow!
Naomi Phoenix is down into the crowd with 5 Roosevelt defenders.
Sky of the Northwest goal.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. 5
Naomi,
Roosevelt defenders.
Naomi height mismatched by 4 different players there. Wasn't enough.
Jeez. Crowd chanting MVP. I mean, true. Score is 9-9, tied up with only 5 minutes left. So I don't think we'll be getting it to 13 based on how long these points are, and it's really down to the wire.
Especially considering we're playing 15.
True. I've said 13 maybe 5 times by now. We're playing to 15. They will not be getting there. I mean, unless something crazy happens.
Might not get to 13 either.
Yeah,
I don't think they're getting to 11.
I think they barely make 11.
Yeah.
I sense a
Lots of-
final.
Another Reed Cost sighting on the field, hitting in the 40 now.
Say 10-10 into count.
What's he doing? Hi, Reed. Shut up, Reed, if you're watching this.
We're all in
Nobi, are you trying out for any club teams right now?
Yeah, I am currently trying out for South and ECU. Both fun teams.
Yep.
Are you? I heard just YCC.
Yeah, I wanted to try out for Underground, but I missed that because I forgot. But I am trying out for Seattle Soul. They're an over 18 team though, so if I make it, I'll be a practice player. But most of my focus right now is on YCC because I really like to make that team and travel with them.
Yeah, finding teams to try out for is kind of like submitting assignments. It's like, I don't know where they goes.
Yeah. I'm just trying out for the U17 YCC team. What about you?
I'll be trying out for U20 mixed and boys.
Yeah. Do you prefer playing single gender or mixed?
So I think they're both very competitive and fun in Seattle, and I like playing open more or boys because I feel like there's more of an opportunity for like team bonding, I guess. You get like, well, I get to yell at everyone.
Yeah.
But I think I want to play mixed this summer just because I'll have 4 years of open in college.
Right.
But that's not a thing in, mixed is not a thing in college. So playing a couple years here would be fun. And
There's a bobble by Roosevelt as they get closer to their inside line. Naomi striking up line. Oh, she took a lot of steps there.
oh, and another cross field. Naomi is a fan of those.
Ellie's great at getting in there. Call though.
Another discussion. Ruled as a 10.
Okay. Chloe picking up.
2 minutes left on our game clock.
Jeez, score tied. 2 minutes left. This point could last the whole 2 minutes. So this could possibly be universe.
Oh, and a little overthrow on the sideline.
If you don't know, universe means it's tied at the last point of the game. Not sure if that's what's going to happen, but we do only have about 2 minutes left. Naomi with the disc.
Wow,
Shooting
deep throw
immediately.
to Roosevelt.
All right. They do have very good field position though. The stakes are really high right now, I think.
Oh my gosh. Another overthrow. I think both teams are really tired. I'm tired.
I'm a little stressed out. I didn't see what happened, but we'll have Naomi picking up
And a timeout call. I think this game's with 1 minute left on the clock. How long are timeouts?
90.
90 seconds. 90 seconds is longer than a minute. This might be our universe win.
90 seconds is longer than a minute.
Mira, what would you be telling your team right now?
If I was Northwest, I think I would figure out the ISO, figure out the person who's going to be the isolation cut, just have like a very strict plan because they're right on the end zone line. They have a very easy chance to score if they have it clean. And Roosevelt is, I think mostly I'd just be hyping my team up. Like, they need to get this D here. This is like, everything relies on getting this D, so the tightest defense you ever played. Like, leave it all on the field type of, like, situation.
Yeah, Roosevelt has been, has forced a couple turns in Northwest end zone set. Let's see, I think it's going to be a little more poachy this time.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think trying to figure out how to stop Naomi and Scout, just figure out the right matchups, and just doing what they can. After a timeout, offense sets up first, and then once they said they're ready, defense sets up how they like. And after a turn, the person who called it with the disc in the hands will be picking it up again, so we'll have Naomi with the disc. On the sideline, it all comes down to this. The clock is out. The score is 9-9. Northwest is on their end zone line. This is insanely stressful. The crowd is getting loud. Both sides putting it out there for their team.
So, Northwest is going to set up 3 players all clustered at the back, and then 3 with the disc and 1 ISO scout.
Huh. Okay. I mean, this is what I talked about, making sure they have a very set play.
I like that defense.
Roosevelt is good.
Defense almost working on setting up.
I think they're trying to figure out how to work with this. I don't think this is what they were expecting.
So,
You have Anna on scout to stop that immediate ISO.
Roosevelt is going person here.
I like
This is
it.
interesting.
I like it.
That's not how that works.
Naomi with the disc. Chloe on the mark.
Uh-oh, front corner. And a D by Roosevelt right at the last second.
Incredible run for D. I believe that was Lucy Mertz. That's what I was talking about. It all comes down to that, and they did what they needed to do. I'm sure Roosevelt now looking to get it downfield and away from their end zone in case they turn it over and Northwest gets a chance again. Somebody picking up, I can't see.
Northwest setting their 3-person cup.
Right. Chagall to Lucy. Lucy to Vivian. Upline to Lucy. Back upline to Vivian.
Nice
Swinging,
swing all the
swinging.
way.
Nice. A little bit through to Vivian. Back to Chloe. Getting it to Tanner. This is Roosevelt really doing what they know best. Is that patient handler movement. Swinging to Anna. Great look. Chloe.
Showing a little frustration that her cutters were not there.
I do that a lot. Anna.
Losing yards again. Right through the
Nice.
cup.
Chagall. Wow. It's the middle. That opens up so much.
They're staying runs.
Wow. Nice cover there.
Great field awareness by Ellie.
Roosevelt getting closer and closer. Northwest still in their zone. What? I don't know if they're... Okay, so Ellie...
Hey, call on the field. I think the call is that Ellie threw the disc and caught it without anyone else touching it. So the rule is that if you can't catch the disc you threw unless it was touched by another player.
I didn't see what happened there, but I'm
So-
guessing that's the call. 'Cause... Okay, so they're
Ruling that it was touched, and Ellie will keep the disc in the middle of the field. Northwest still in their zone,
back to Anna. Oh no!
and
Too far for Roosevelt. Roosevelt wanting to play shutdown defense here. Stopping that big. There it
And
is. It's up. Ellie's back there though. Swinging. Northwest has set up their zone again though. Back to Lucy.
now within 15 yards of the end zone, shooting
Shooting.
deep, and a D!
Great D there by Sasha Hanna, maybe? Let's see. Roosevelt wanting to stop. Naomi's huck here.
Sasha left covering 2 Roosevelt players in the end zone and made up the ground to get the block.
This is very back and forth, lasting at most point. I think they're both teams doing every possible thing they can. Up the line to Lisa.
You see Roosevelt leaving their dump unguarded because Ellie is poaching the deep space.
Yeah. Swing to Annika.
So Chagall is on 2 people right now.
Chloe on the mark. Naomi with the disc. Lucy.
Ooh!
Good effort, but Scout gets there. Naomi. Some sort of call. Maybe a travel? Yeah. Travel call.
So travels do not actually stop play, but if I guess they all are stopping.
And it stops the play.
Oh, and another turn. That is
Kelly Johnson, Roosevelt coach, begging team to call a timeout, and there it is.
timeout call.
That's the second timeout at this point, this time called by Roosevelt. Coach Hussein very happy with Sasha's D in the end zone. I think this timeout is mostly about catching their breaths. This has been a really long point. I mean, definitely a little strategy talk, but making sure their teammates feel refreshed
Yeah,
and ready
this
to go.
this Northwest Universe line has pretty much played the entire game.
Yeah.
Same with Roosevelt. They've been playing tighter lines. Have seen players like Chagall and Chloe take subs, but they've been playing mostly the whole game.
Right.
I'm tired and I'm sitting down.
Yeah, I'm a little sleepy. This is stressful though. Makes me really nervous. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say. I think that they just have to keep working hard. They're trying their best out there. That's all that matters.
What? Have you ever been in a double game point situation like this?
Yes.
In a big
So
game?
I have definitely been in double game point situations. I'm trying to think of times it's happened in big games because we had a lot of them throughout the regular season, having to come back a lot. Let me think about that one. Nobi, what about you?
Yeah, I remember one. It was actually in that same game I talked about earlier, that mixed JV finals, and I didn't know it was game point.
Nice.
I played it like any other point. It worked out.
Yeah.
Obviously, these players, after 2 timeouts and a lot of sideline cheering, they can't really forget. There's a lot of pressure on the line right now, and it's causing some unforced errors.
All right, we have Lucy Tanner picking up the disc with 4 handlers back. All right, Northwest setting up their zone. Okay, this is about to be tapped in. Very loud, let's go Northwest, let's go chant from the crowds. close.
Oh, there's the deep shot, and it does not come.
Straight up
Right up the sideline, twice in a row.
3 times in a row. Yes.
Cross field,
Amazing cross
within 5 yards of the end zone.
Defense
Is Roosevelt
trying
going to be
catch up.
patient, or
Vivian right. There it is!
Dishy in the front of the end zone?
Right after the timeout. Vivian to, I can see that was for the Roosevelt score, and that means Roosevelt takes the game.
Roosevelt is your 2022 This Northwest GX State Champs.
That was an incredible game, so tight,
All of our athletes.
so back and forth, so much trading points, and both teams worked so hard. I'm so glad I was able to watch that game and be able to witness that.
Shout out to Kelly for doing this by herself.
Yeah. Also, amazing work by Northwest playing virtually the same 7 every single point. Both teams worked so hard to get here, and it's been an amazing season. That's an amazing win for Roosevelt, so congrats to them. Anything else you have to say, Nobi?
Nah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, supporting. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm Mira, and
I'm Nobi.
we're out.
I see ya.
Yay! I knew Roosevelt was going to